Oh, okay. Well, you clap, so I figured.
It's
Figured you were.
the universal symbol for go.
Is it?
It is now.
I don't know.
Oh, good God. All right.
All right. So, welcome. This is Craig and Mike, 370 TNT, episode 2. Let's talk about, Mike, if you don't mind. Let's start with the moment you picked up your CCW license.
Man. All right. So in all the literature that you're going to get, all the emails, they tell you do not bring.
Do not
bring.
at all.
So I didn't. Now it took me a while to get a holster. And then I finally, through years of, research and trial and error, not years, it was months, it was TikTok, it was this, it was that. I ended up with this thing because I'm a larger individual. I'm fluffy, as one says. And I knew I wanted something that was going to be, tucked in. So this is inside the waistband, but also you can tuck your shirt in back here so you can actually really kind of hide it if you need to. I'm stalling because we're going to get to a part of the story, which I really don't like to tell.
Let's get to that part now.
We will get there. We will get there. So I wore this around the house and kind of got it molded, if you will, to my body. I wore them, obviously with the gun in it.
I was going to say, so when around the house, you're saying you wore it around the house with your gun inside. Okay.
With the gun inside. And day one, go get it. I didn't actually carry outside of the house probably for the first week.
Wow.
Because I still wasn't comfortable with it. I'm still kind of getting used to it. It's a new relationship. I didn't know where I wanted it on my body yet. I didn't know so I didn't.
So you have guns. So
Yeah.
the weapons that you chose to put on your CCW were ones that you were familiar with.
Yeah.
But you just weren't comfortable or familiar enough with the holster, or was it the whole idea of carrying?
It was the whole thing. It was the holster. It was the idea of carrying in public. Okay, so the very first day I actually carried out into public, I would have sworn everybody knew I was carrying a gun.
Yeah.
It was just like, it's right here. Look, everybody, it's right here. You can't see. It's right there. You can't see it.
100%.
Hyper aware of it being on my body. Hyper aware.
Same thing.
And so it was just, your heart's going, and then anytime I pass a cop in a car or walking or whatever, I'm like, he's got a gun on him. You know how I can tell? Because I can smell it. He's got that look.
Well, I think that it's what you're saying is true. I mean, for me, it was a little bit different. I immediately after I got my license, I had already put my gun in my gun safe in the trunk of my car with the holster. The moment I had my license, I walked out to the car.
He's in the parking lot, in the sheriff's parking lot. It's time to strap up.
Well, it's up the hill, if you remember.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Oh, it's not even near the sheriff's.
No, it's off. It's off property.
It's definitely far. But I immediately put it on and carried the moment I had my license. I think that I wasn't familiar with my holster, same as you, and was super cautious with it. But I was like, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I'm going to I got to just
commit.
Just do it. Yeah,
just commit to
100%. Like if I didn't want to put it off, and I had that 6 weeks from when they called me to tell me when my appointment was to research holsters to figure out which one I think would affect my body rate. Same thing though. I went through appendix holsters to ones that you can do at 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and I have them all. But it was immediately the moment I got my license, I was ready to go.
You and me in the parking lot, 3 o'clock. Let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Down, whatever you want to call it. We're loading.
Oh my God.
So after the week, and was it a week of you wearing it around the house?
Yeah. Easily, if not 2 weeks of just wearing it around the house. Before, then I pick it up, and then I would say around the house again, another week of just getting used to it, changing the position and whatnot, dry firing, practicing what that feels like, what clothing I want. I tried to do the tuck in once where I tucked in my shirt, and I was like, holy shit,
it's tough.
I did go out. I had to do some things, and I did tuck it in that, in that environment that I was going to be in, and I knew I was like, hey, listen, I'm allowed to carry here. I'm allowed to have it here, but I don't want a single person to even suspect, right? So I did go ahead and tuck the shirt. I was wearing a dress shirt at the time, tucked it around that. And what I found out later when I got home was getting to it. Holy shit. If you don't train for that, you might as well not even have it.
Yeah.
Because trying to get to it while it's tucked in like that, if you train for that, it'll be fine. Right? You will get over that. You'll develop the muscle memory. You'll develop all the things that you need to do that. But if you're just going to do it, forget about it.
Yeah.
Because it's just, it was a nightmare. Here I am trying to just, take it off, put it in the safe, be done with it for the day. And I'm like,
yeah, it's a lot.
Where is it?
Yeah.
I'm like, I know it's here. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, got through that first week, finally wore the thing out in public and was just like, yeah, everybody knows I'm carrying.
And then let's talk about being out in public and where you can in public and where you can't in public. It is it's almost as though they give you the license to carry, but they want to make it as restrictive as possible.
So, and the short answer is in California, yes. California historically has not been the friendliest towards just firearm owners in general, especially when it comes to concealed carry. Right. And just removing the politics from the table, just talking about what the rules are. You can't carry anywhere. You can't carry in government buildings. You can't carry on government property, federal or state. You can't carry in schools. You can't carry in places of worship. You can't carry in anywhere that serves alcohol. You can't carry in public venues. You can't carry in state parks. You can't carry in, obviously, any transportation venue. So it's train stations, airports, obviously, right? Everyone knows that one. But train stations, people probably don't know that. Bus depots, people probably don't know that, right? So, yeah, there's a ton of places where you just can't carry. And if they have it posted that there's no concealed carry or there's no firearms allowed on premises, the new law, SB, I can't remember what number that is right now, you are not allowed to carry there either if they have it posted.
That's different. I thought that you were, because even though the establishment doesn't want you to, they don't trump.
That new law, if they post it,
that trumps it.
Yeah, you can't carry it. The reversal is if someone posts posts a sign where it states that you can carry, then you can carry in that venue. Otherwise, if it's posted that you can't carry, if nothing's posted at all, you're okay.
Go for it.
But as long as it's not, as long as it's not one of the places that we know we can't carry, right?
Let's clear that up real quick.
So I don't know if I mentioned schools, but if you're going to go pick up your kid at school, you can't carry there, right? So
even if you're just outside the gate. You don't even go on the campus?
I'm pretty sure it's within 1,000 yards.
I believe you're right, sir.
So if you're within 1,000 yards, you can't have it on you, but you can travel with it. Now, this was a conversation you and I were having earlier where I was mistaken, where I thought if you had your concealed carry, you could have it, like, say, in your glove box because you're going to put it in the glove box and you're going to put it back in your holster, which is not correct.
It is not correct at all. You
have to carry it how?
Out of trouble. It has to be on your body. It's concealed carry.
Or if it's in the car, it's got to be where?
In a gun locker in the trunk or furthest away from you. Because if you're in a truck, then obviously it has to be in like the furthest area. In the back
if you're like in a two-seater, it's got to be under the passenger seat, whatever. Right. You can't have immediate access to it, and it can't be loaded. Cannot be loaded.
And the bullets have to be separate from the gun, if I remember.
They have to. They can't. So you can carry a magazine with rounds in. It can be in the container. It cannot be in the weapon.
Correct.
But they would prefer it be in a separate container.
A whole separate container.
It doesn't have to be a locked container, but it just has to be separate. They prefer it not be separate. So it's the wording is ammunition should be, not shall be. Right. So the should is yes, we'd prefer you do it this way, but shall means you have to do it this way. So the gun shall be in a locked container. Ammunition should be stored separately.
So, and I know that there's a couple of questions, and we actually were debating this with another colleague of mine, and he was under the same impression too, that, you can leave it in your glove compartment. It's still, and I was like, no, there's no way. You're jeopardizing your license by doing that.
Yep.
So let's talk about, speaking of ways that you can jeopardize your license, we know that there's places that you can't carry. Mm-hmm. So what would you say if you got pulled over? How do you handle that?
Well, if you're carrying, right? If you're
Yes.
carrying, then you have a duty to inform. So in the state of California, you are required to, anytime you're approached by law enforcement of any agency, if you are carrying your firearm, you're required to tell them, hey, I am a licensed concealed carry weapons holder. I have my weapon on me. It's in whatever location it may be, you let them know from the beginning.
How would you like me to proceed?
Exactly.
Keep your
How do you want to
hands on the
proceed?
wheel,
Exactly. Yeah,
or-
keep your hands up. Don't
Yep.
reach for anything. Don't reach for your
100%.
wallet. Don't reach for anything. Let them know first.
Yes.
I would almost even go to the point of saying, put your hands up before you even start speaking.
Correct.
Because if you do it during, it could be
They're
conceived
they're
as,
heightened at that point.
exactly. So, it's just like, I am a concealed carry weapons holder. And yes, I am armed at the moment. How would you like to proceed? You can leave it as simple as that, right? But you are required to tell them.
Which is crazy when you think about it. I mean, you're a licensed holder. I would think that you would not have to tell them, but you do. And then after you get pulled over, you have to notify the sheriff.
Yeah, whether pulled over on the street, anytime you have an interaction, exactly, whatever it is, if you're having an interaction, not the hi, how are you, whatever, someone's just talking to you, if they walk up to you and just start a conversation, you're not required to tell them, right? If they're walking up to you and stopping you, whether in on the street or in a car or whatever, for a legal action, that's when you're required to tell them, right?
Yep.
So if I'm just striking up a conversation with them or they're striking up a conversation with me, I'm not saying a damn thing, right? But I'm also not reaching for anything, I'm not doing anything, I'm just talking to them, right? So, but once that turns into a stop of some sort, that's when you have to tell them.
Correct.
So, yeah.
So, Mike, when you're thinking about holsters and holster types, now you said that actually, let's go into a couple of things, because I have a couple of questions for you, because I've only done it one way and you've done it two ways.
Okay.
So I'm going to try not to lead this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So when you originally got your first holster, was it made specifically for that weapon, or was it a universal?
So, okay, good question. It's a leather holster. It's got a single clip on it that is meant to, one, clip around the belt, but two, allow you to it's got a space in between the clip and the holster itself to allow you to tuck something into it, like a shirt, right? Oh, obviously tuck a shirt into it. This was from a company called...
You even want to name that company?
I can't. Okay, so part of the failure of the holster, we were at the range. We were training, and we kind of got done. We were cleaning up, and did the gun come out, or did the whole came? The gun came out of the holster. I'm bending down, picking stuff up. Next thing you know, the gun hits the ground, and the holster's still on me, but it had moved enough. Things had shifted enough that this thing just pooped the gun right out of the holster.
Right off the ground.
And so, being that it's leather, being that it doesn't have any type of retention kind of built into it, it just slid right out of there. And this clip is meant for you to be able to, or the belt clip is meant for you to be able to move it and position it, and to do the cant so you can get the right grip. But it's going to loosen. It's going to move over time.
But
right?
Is that one specifically for your?
Yes, this is molded, quote unquote, for my gun, right, which was a Springfield Hellcat. I would imagine that this also fits other weapons of that same frame, right? On the package itself, it did say Hellcat with optic, right? So they do make them for the gun,
right?
But how for is it? Yeah, I don't know if they're using. Yeah, so that's one example, right? But another example is from another company. This one's from Alien Gear,
which we love,
which we do love. So we're talking about how it molds to your body. If you can't see it, this has kind of got a curve to it because it's molded to my body. When I first got it, it was perfectly straight across. But it's got a material on the front called Kydex, which is vacuum formed to my gun specific, not my gun specific, but my make and model specifically. And that gives you that retention. It clips into your trigger guard right here, and it just holds it in place. There's a nice satisfying click when you put this in and out.
And you can adjust that retention.
And you can adjust the retention on how hard it is to remove or how easy it is to slip the gun in and out. And then also the clips that are on here that are designed for your belt, also for you to be able to tuck a shirt underneath it so that way you can hide this even more. These can move throughout or through 3 different positions to allow you to change how you want the gun to sit. So... How many different holsters did you go through
Oh,
before
my
you
goodness.
landed on your holster?
Well, first I had 3 weapons on my first permit. So that meant holsters for 3 different ones. I had from the single clip to the double clip to ones that were actually shaped around your hip.
When you're saying clip, you're talking about this?
Yes, we're
this
talking
thing?
about like the little
Yep.
the single clip as opposed to the
Yep.
double clips, and then you can cant them, et cetera, et cetera. So this was one of the first ones that I got, and I thought that I have a type of retention that comes with this, which is a thumb brake tension. But then as I started dry firing and practicing with it, I realized how difficult it was just to be able to pull the thumb brake off.
We'll talk about that
And
in
so
another
I
future
would
episode.
say that I had
We have-
probably 6 to 8 holsters for the 3 when I first started. And then it became which one felt more comfortable, what am I wearing, and then that changed varieties that made it better for me or easier for me to decide which one I'm going to wear with what. So if I'm wearing a suit, if I'm wearing jeans, am I wearing shorts? I can't put enough emphasis on a correct belt.
Yeah.
That makes if you don't have a great belt that can hold the weight of that weapon, and your pants start sagging on that one side,
Yep.
and now it's falling down below your shirt line, then that becomes an issue as well. So yeah, I would say I started off with a lot, and that was through me researching and watching videos and looking at brands and looking at reviews. But then the ones that you end up using the most are probably the ones that you weren't thinking you were going to use the most. Since I've just renewed my license, I only have 2 on instead of 3. Figured I didn't really need the third one. I went with shorter barrels, which makes it a whole lot easier to carry. It requires a little bit more practice as far as pulling from the holster and getting around on target, but totally worth it. So if you're looking to, when you walk out the door, you have that. When they give you the call, you have 6 weeks minimum to figure out exactly what holster you want. It's probably going to take a week and a half for you to get that holster. So I would recommend do your research, get the holster, have the holster before you have the license. Do the same as Mike did. Wear it around the house. Get comfortable with it before you have your license, because obviously you still can't use it. Just because you have a pickup date, you cannot use that weapon in a CCW capacity until you have the license. So just because you're approved doesn't mean you can just start using it without that license. You got to wait till that license comes in. Get comfortable with it around the house, familiar, and then if you're comfortable, day one, just start wearing it. But it took me going through a bunch, and a lot of what you don't realize is they have to be broken in, whether it's Kydex, whether it's leather, whether it's a combination of the two. You still have to break that in and get your body used to it and it used to your body.
Yep, 100%. 100%. Well, all right.
So let's talk about day one. Let's close it up with the psychological impact and the fears that you're going to have when you're carrying. I remember for me, day one was everyone's going to know that I have a weapon. Is it showing? Is it printing too hard? Am I going to run into if I go someplace and there's a screener dog, is the dog going to pick up? There's all these thoughts and fears that go into it. And the fact that you're also uncomfortable because you have this appendage that's now attached to your hip or attached to your 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, wherever you're carrying it. And it's not comfortable. When you sit down, there was so much that was going on with me that that I had to get over, that took time to get over. Was there anything that you found difficult in your first day?
All of that. I think I said in episode 1, I was hyper aware that this thing was on me, right? I was convinced that when I walked into the nameless grocery store that I walked into, the guy at the checkout stand, he's got a gun. That guy that walked in right now.
Right. Or even just a security guard, is this guy...
That's a tactidad right there. You know what I'm saying? Because he's tactical, right? I mean, it was constantly on my mind. And, we talk about printing, right? So it's that This is what printing is when it's on your body, but the shirt or whatever you're wearing is pressed up against it, tight enough or so tight that you can totally see the outline of the gun, right?
Correct.
Everything I have prints. Everything. At least that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm feeling, right? And so the only way to get over that is to carry.
Yep.
And you get in front of the mirror, put your clothes on, move, bend, stretch, pick things up, throw things on the ground, don't roll around, but do the things that you normally do and see, right? If you have people that you can say, husband, wife, whatever, look, can you see this thing, right? Do the sanity check. Most of the time, the answer is no.
Yeah, didn't know you had it.
Had no idea, right? We've taught classes where, midway through or even towards the end of the class, right, we'll reveal that we're armed that whole time. They had no idea, right? Because, again, we take the time to try ahead of time.
Right.
But yeah, day one, you're going to feel like everybody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know any other way to put that, other than the fact that you're used to carrying for other reasons. You've been doing it for other jobs, or you've just been, gangster like that. So, which, we've met those people too.
Yes,
so,
we have. And the importance of actually using the equipment for what it's for. I know that there was a guy that I worked with that got his CCW, but did not keep his gun in a holster and just had it in his belt.
Don't do that.
And I was like, what are you thinking? Like,
just don't do that.
No way that you carry your gun in your belt. Like this, but I mean, the tools are out there. It's just whether or not you want to educate yourself, and we can help you get there. Point370.com. You can reach out to us at info@point370. All the links will be in the bio.
Like, share, subscribe, help us get the word out. Come check us out.
Have a good one.
Man, dude, the no holster thing. The no holster thing. Like, because he grew up in the 80s watching the action flicks, man. I'm telling you.
This guy was, I tell you, I think Naza actually heard. I was like, you got to hear this guy. You've got to hear this guy. This guy would come up and question, question my knowledge base. And he's just getting his. And I own
an executive protection company. I've been doing this, but I've been trained by the military. I've been trained with it.
So when you do EP, right?
Yes.
If you had to do this, or this, which one of those would you pick? And I'm like,
I'm sorry. What?
I'm sorry. I think I put you on the phone once with him.
The sphincter says what?
It's like, are you kidding me? Like,
yeah, that's.
And I was his supervisor, so I can't
beat him into submission.
Can't be a dick.
Good God. It's the action movies that got us doing it. It's John Woo and all those guys.
Yeah, I don't